digital community. So this time we're going to talk about something interesting. I know normally I talk about video games, but I do like to talk about tech. And this time around, we're going to talk about Gmail, which a lot of people who are watching this video who use YouTube probably use Gmail. Now, if you didn't know, in June there was a lawsuit filed against Google for basically it's a class action data-mining lawsuit about Gmail. And basically the point of it is that Google made it clear, in their counter to this lawsuit, that they basically made it clear that people who send and receive email via Gmail should not expect their messages to remain private. And that basically they stated the Smith versus Maryland case, a 1979 Supreme Court case decision that upheld the collection of electronic communication without a warrant. Now, one of the arguments that people are going to make is, like when the post office delivers a letter, they can't open the letter, they can't read the letter, it's illegal for them to do so. And so isn't an email basically a letter? And this is an interesting, it'll be interesting how this case turns out, because again, emails have always been this thing that really there hasn't been a lot of actual legal ruling on emails, whether they're like a letter or they're just another sent electronic thing. And the plaintiffs in the case contend that basically Google's automatic scanning of your email represents an illegal, interception of electronic communication without consent. Because Google's point is, just as a letter is sent to a business, the recipient's business, it's not illegal for the secretary to look at the letter. But the problem here is that this isn't a secretary looking at the letter. This is Google looking at the email. This is Google scanning your email. This is Google data mining your email. And that this, especially with the Snowden stuff coming down, people are very, very sensitive to any of their privacy being invaded in any way. Now listen, Gmail's been around since 2004. It's been around for a while. And the truth of whether people want to admit it or not, Google is in the business of data mining. What you search, what you do on YouTube, what you do on other products, what you do on the internet. Their job, what they do most, is they take all that data mining and they put it in a way to give it back sometimes to consumers, other times to businesses, and all of it's about money. Now, for people who just don't care what they read in their Gmail, that's great. But a lot of people have a lot of things that go through their Gmail. Some people use Gmail for business, some people use it for financial, some people, just private family stuff. It is a big thing for them to know that the people who are controlling their email service are not invading the privacy. Now, one of the arguments you're going to make that is a very viable one, and people don't understand, that like in this country, there's been a law for a while now that every email sent has to be backed up from the person who, is the one who has email service, because for the government, in case of lawsuits, so forth and so on. So in a sense, everybody's email is backed up anyway. It's just by law they have to. But the fact that the company doing your email is actually data mining it is a very big deal. And they're using a 1979 lawsuit that was before the internet age happened. And I'm assuming that if they were to sit down and look at it today, the Supreme Court had a lot more to think about than in 1979. Much different thing today. Which is ironic because right after this happened, Microsoft, again, we all love when companies kind of do these little wars against each other. It's kind of fun. Where Microsoft basically launched a campaign against Google right after this, saying that basically they only scan the email to make sure there's no such thing as, spam, malware, and unwanted activity. They don't actually read the email. Which more and more, let's be honest here, more email things do that, or more email providers actually allow you to decide what's spam and not spam. But how do you feel about the fact that Google automatically scans your email? How do you feel that they've basically said clear that you should not expect, no legitimate expectation of privacy and information, and it can be voluntarily turned over to third parties? How do you feel about the fact that they feel that they can turn your information over to anybody at any time without your consent? Or do you just think, well, that's the internet today, you need to deal with it, that today anything you put out there, everybody can see it at any time, and you're fine with that? Personally, I'm not happy that this happens. I think this is wrong that they data mined your email without, if it's in the agreement that you signed that they can do that, that's a different thing. If it's not in the agreement, then it's not right. I don't believe you should. If it's in the agreement, and a lot of people don't read agreements anymore when they do stuff, and they really should. You really should know what you're getting into. So in that respect, if it was in the agreement and you just signed it and pay attention, that's on us. But if it's not, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. Again, privacy has been challenged a lot lately, from governments to businesses these days. Everybody wants to limit the amount of privacy you have to very little. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be the one to decide your privacy, not somebody else. But again, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic, and I will speak to you guys again soon. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all who subscribed lately. I will talk to you